Casey, thank you so much for being here. And you said we were going to learn to make boutonnieres. And of course, when I think of boutonnieres, I either think of weddings or, in our case, our school has a wonderful maypole tradition where the girls, of course, wear their long dresses and the guys have a boutonniere that matches the dresses. And I'm sure the florists make lots of money those times of the year, but it's not really that hard, is it?
It's not that hard. It takes a few elements and the right kind of flowers to make it work.
Oh,
Roses are by far the easiest and best because they do well out of water. Because what you're doing is you're taking the little flower away from its stem, which has been sitting in water, and you're wrapping it up, you're sticking some wire in it and then wrapping it up with tape. And so it has to be able to manage out of water for a while. So it's important to find the right flowers that do that. So roses by far are great because they also, we're talking about color themes. Everybody wants a different color to go with their wedding. So with roses, you have a huge array of shades, as well as the spray roses, which we're going to work with today.
These are the smaller
roses. Ones. And these I find work great for like a ring bearer boutonniere.
A little child.
Or even for the guys that maybe aren't wearing a tuxedo, that might be wearing maybe a looser shirt, like a Tommy Bahama sort of loose, comfortable shirt in the summer. A big, heavy rose or flower isn't going
to look appropriate.
No, it's going to swing down and be too heavy. So something like this is a nice and light. Also for moms who are going to have a wrist corsage, or maybe even something that they're wearing, something chiffony or something, so it's nice to use something lightweight. So we're going to use this as our main flower, our spray rose, and then we're going to add a little bit of fun to it with some wax flower, little filler flower. And this is one I've just done.
Pretty.
Very simple, but to me, the fun thing about them is you can pull in so many different elements, and they just end up being little pieces of art and to wear. And
each one slightly different.
Each one slightly different. So we're going to make a couple of those today.
Okay.
So what we need is some wire, and the kind of wire that we use for these, it has to be pretty bendable, but at least sturdy. So this is about a 24 gauge wire. And
that's very thin.
Very thin, but enough to hold it together. And because you don't really want the bulk of all the stem to stay with there. So we need to take the stem off, but we need the wire to sort of build the components together. So that's what the wire is for.
And is a boutonniere always a single flower?
Not necessarily. No, boutonniere is smaller and considered more for a gentleman, whereas a pin corsage is a little bit more ornate, and that would be for a lady.
I see.
And so I think the boutonniere too is also came from having the buttonhole. They used to call it a buttonhole. They used to put something in, and that was actually in the lapel, but this usually gets pinned on the lapel. The second element that we need for hardware is this. This is called floral tape, and it's very unusual because it doesn't feel sticky
at all.
But it actually, once you have to pull it to sort of activate it, and then it will stick to itself. However, all of the elements need to be dry to make it work. If it does hit water, it will unravel. So we usually take a length of that as well. So I'm going to do that. Put that there. So I have a length of my floral tape. I have my wire, and I'm going to give it a go here. And I have my rose. This one looks like a good candidate.
You know I love yellow roses.
I know. They are so lovely.
So glad you brought that.
And we're going to take off the greenery, and I have some stem to work with, but I don't really need all that. I only need about that much.
Oh, about
and what I do, about an inch. And then right here on the stem, where the main part of the bulb starts to narrow down into the stem, we actually insert the wire right there.
Going into
straight
the
across.
side.
Yep. And then we work this right through.
Right to the center.
Right to the center, and then we drop it down, and it becomes a new stem. And then from here, we add our floral tape.
Oh,
and our floral tape activates once you stretch it, so we give it a little stretch, and when we add it on, we're going to cover the wire. And what also the floral tape does, once it covers the stem, it will help seal in the moisture in the stem, so it will last
So I bet
a
in your
while.
studio you keep all the flowers in water until you're ready to use them.
Absolutely, yes. So then we just cover the wire, going all the way down.
And you twist it.
And I twist it and I pull, kind of like wrapping an ace bandage, rather on the quick side. So that's good to go, but we usually like to add something else a little bit special. So we're going to take some of this wax flower, and it's got the greenery on it, which won't really work. It's too bulky. So we pull away some of that, and you can just think, well, I think that looks pretty. Maybe I'll just do that. Looks really sweet. Well, can't really wire that because it's too much of a branch. So what I'm going to do is take another piece of tape, and how we do this is we already have that one element there, and I'm going to line that up, and I'm just going to anchor it. I'm going to go around, and I'm going to anchor that stem, and then I'm going to cut that stem off.
Oh, get rid of the length. Right.
And then I'm going to carry on with that same tape that I had on
And
there.
twisting it all the way
keep twisting. I don't even have to go all the way down now. We're
And then
already
you
there.
get a long pin.
And then, yep, and
it's
here we
ready
can
to-
actually just turn this around as well.
Oh, that's right. How pretty. I wondered why you left that so long.
But it makes it look a little bit more natural. It looks like a little piece of ivy, actually.
It
So
does-
it just
that is
finishes
pretty.
it off. So then you have
Uh-huh.
your boutonniere.
And then you said carnations are
Well,
also a
let's
good
do one of-
flower?
I'll give you one of the carnations to give it a go. The carnation is
Little
very
bigger.
popular
Uh-huh.
and a very hardy also. And we're actually going to stick, you're going to stick the wire right through this part of it.
The- Really the
The
largest
bigger part, because
Uh-huh.
it's too heavy core down here. So we're going to go right through there. You want to give it a try?
Okay.
All right. Just feed it in right where feed it in there so you don't bend. Good. And pop it through. Wonderful. And then, yep, drop that down, straight down. Great. That looks terrific. And then I'll get you started with the tape, and then I'll have you carry on with it. And we're just going to anchor it on there. Go up a little bit to hide the wire. And then you want to just keep pulling and twisting.
Pulling and twisting.
And then I'll pull you a little bit of wax flour.
But you wouldn't add the wax flour until you'd gone all the way down?
Right, because if you try to add all the components and then try to tape the whole thing,
Uh-huh.
it ends up being a bit of a mess. So you're better off taping each individual component and then building it together. Great.
I don't think I twirled quite as
That's
fast
all right.
as you did.
That's all right.
Okay, we're about to get there.
There we go. That's probably plenty. We can just cut that off. I don't think we're going to need it.
Okay.
It has a little bit of a rip. There
Oh,
you
there.
go. And then we might decide, well, I think I want to have a little bit more going on there. So you could add a little bit of wax flour up there. You could do it in front like that. Sometimes if you just lay it on to see how it's going to look. And maybe we just anchor that piece right there.
Would we ever want to put two pieces
Yes,
of
we
that?
could indeed. So we could do that too. So I'm going to anchor this first one. Went around twice,
Oh
anchored
yeah,
it,
cut
trim
off
it
that
off.
excess.
And then at this point, this is where you can add another piece.
You don't have to go all the way
No,
around.
we can just say, well, I think I'll just add this piece now, maybe to this side.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could do a whole collar of it all the way around if we so desired. So sometimes, you know, you have a client that just wants tons of this and tons
Yeah.
of that, and you just have to work it into the plan.
Wow, and are these fast to make?
Yes,
How
they're really fun. They're very meticulous. You have to have all your little elements, and then you wrap it
Yes,
around.
I like that little twisting
Very sweet.
part. Well, thank you so
You're
much,
so
Casey.
welcome.
I appreciate knowing how to do this. Thank you.
You're welcome.